This is the latest edition of the current generation of Ford Fiesta. Give it a quick walk around. Comes with tinted rear windows, as a standard. The Fiesta is very well composed around these twisting and tight German countryside roads. The chassis feels really well balanced. The car stays exactly where you plant it around a turn. I can feel this as a passenger. This is a 1.6 litre diesel, which doesn't pack too much of a punch, but when you really push it, it does start going after a while. Again, the interior sticks to the design cue of the Ford of the current generation, which is, I have to say, quite ugly, but it's covered in very nice, premium feeling, soft touch plastics, which is really a cut above everything else in this class. I think the steering wheel and the dials around that, speedometer, rev counter, look much nicer than this ugly console in the middle. But overall, in terms of what's available in the class, the interior is very nice, and yeah, it's quite good. On the Autobahn at 120 kilometers, that's about 60 miles or so, maybe a little bit more, and there's not too much road noise for a small car. Again, the car feels good. It's a little bit sluggish, I would say, for overtaking. Things like that aren't really possible, but it's it's getting us to our destination. Now, you might notice that we're not actually in the exact same Fiesta that we were in originally, and that's because the 1.6D, half-a-year-old Ford Fiesta that we were initially driving and reviewing basically had its engine go kaput on the Autobahn. We were stranded on the side of the road. It was a half-a-year-old vehicle which had done very, very little mileage, and the engine just malfunctioned on us. There was an oil pressure problem. It's with Ford right now, and they're trying to work out what happened to the engine, but it's finished. I would give the 1.6D Ford Fiesta 0 out of 10. We're now driving the 1.25 litre petrol Fiesta, and the engine is a lot quieter. Again, it doesn't really pull like its diesel sibling, but I think it's a lot more reliable and a much safer option. And given that it's such a small petrol engine, it's still quite frugal, so it's probably more worthwhile buying that. If you're in the market for a Fiesta, go for the petrol. Do not go for the 1.6D. If you have to go for a diesel, maybe go for at least a 2 litre diesel, but not the smaller diesel engine. That 1.6D engine is also featured in Citroens, in Peugeots, and in Volvos. So at all costs, avoid the 1.6D. This Ford Fiesta, our driver gives out of 10. 6 out of 10, maybe 7. I would give it a 6, and I was gonna give it perhaps higher than that.
Say a 7.
Okay, driver reckons a 7. I say 6. Let's say 6.5 out of 10, and that's because we've had a really, really bad experience with a brand new 1.6D. So there it is. The Fiesta handles pretty well on the road. It doesn't pull very well with the smaller engine options, and stay clear of the 1.6D.